I, female 28, recently had my and my husband's 32 first child, a little boy. Our baby is amazing and we're so in love with him. After the birth, we only allowed our parents and siblings to see the baby so that we could have some time to settle into our new lives. We didn't want to be overrun with visitors, but we decided to host a barbecue this weekend so some more extended family and friends could meet the baby. It went really well and everyone was so over the moon to see the little one. I'd like to clarify this wasn't a huge gathering, maybe only 10 people. At one point I took the baby inside for his lunch. I'm currently nursing him, so I went to his nursery to have some privacy. As most people were in the backyard, I thought that this would be a quiet spot for the two of us. Unbeknownst to me, my best friend's female 27 husband 29 needed the bathroom at some point and came into the house. I think he was having a bit of a snoop around because he opened the door to the nursery where I was with the baby, which is nowhere near the bathroom, and inevitably found us. He was quite shocked and fumbled his words a little bit before closing the door and leaving. I wasn't very happy that this had happened because I'd specifically gone looking for a quiet moment so the baby could eat, but it was what it was and I thought it was over. When I walked out of the house a little while later, I was surprised to see that my best friend and her husband had left. My husband tells me that when best friend's husband came out of the house, he immediately reprimanded my husband for the fact that I was exposing myself and acting inappropriately in front of guests. Of course, my husband was very confused by what was going on, but my best friend's husband basically just grabbed my friend and the two of them left, leaving everyone else quite stunned. A few hours after everyone had gone home, best friend's husband started a group chat with me, my husband and my best friend and basically said that he couldn't believe how I had exposed myself to him today when I knew he was happily married and that I should have more shame. He said that I was not setting a good example for my son, who would grow up as some deviant because I was refusing to feed him in a normal and healthy way. I'm honestly quite upset about the whole thing and no one has responded. My best friend hasn't even opened any of my other messages, but I wonder if maybe I should have just gone with the bottle feed during the event so that this would never have happened. My husband thinks best friend's husband has lost his mind, but was I the idiot? Sweet Jesus, you can feed your child any way you want, especially in your own home, especially in your own nursery. Your friend's husband is so wildly out of line, you should go no contact with both of them until he apologizes completely and unreservedly. Not the idiot, very much so. Best friend's husband is nuts. By his reasoning, accidentally opening a door on someone using a toilet would also be exposing yourself in public. He's trying to find a way to make sure he's blameless. This is very nasty behavior on his part. This guy is an untrustworthy snake and should not be allowed near you without a full, heartfelt apology and correction of what happened to everyone there at minimum. Yeah, he didn't accidentally do anything. Either he was snooping or he went looking for her to expose her. If your friend has an issue, you may need to dump your friend. His behavior is so over the top that he should be called out for his misogyny and told he had no right to be in the room in the first place. The fact that he used it to shame her for breastfeeding makes it sound like he did it on purpose. You were in a private room in your own house and were not expecting this guy to barge into the room. It is completely unnecessary for him to venture around the house. It seems like he had a guilty conscience and told his wife his version of the story to cover his own, "I was making my way directly to the bathroom when your friend jumped out in front of me topless and jiggling her breasts seductively." He's a total idiot who would never be invited to my house ever again. Good riddance. Ryan is a teen and we live in an old house, so the locks on the doors are janky. We're slowly replacing them, but due to the type of door, we need to get custom stuff or it won't work correctly. It's that or replace all the doors and we don't have money for that, so custom locks it is. My son's door is usually locked either on accident or because he wants privacy. That's fine and we didn't have a problem until now. I check on the kids usually before I go to bed. Sometimes his door is locked, so I just say goodnight outside the door. Last night he had the door locked but was playing music. It was late, so I told him to turn it down. No response, so I knocked. Nothing. I call him and it goes to voicemail. I'm panicking at this point and think he hit his head or something. No answers to anything we do, so we take the door off the frame. He's not in his room. He came back at 4 and was at a party, so he snuck out. As punishment, his door is removed since of the lock and it will stay off until he gets a new door in about 2 weeks. That door will have the normal doorknob lock. My husband and I agreed with this punishment, but he told his friends and one parent kept blowing up my phone calling me an idiot. Not to mention the argument I got into with my son. It's for 2 weeks until his door gets here and I need an outside opinion. I can't just remove the lock, it's built into the door. It's not going anywhere. We have to have the locksmith change out the locks. So, am I the idiot for removing my son's door? You're gonna get wildly opposite verdicts, OP. Those from parents and those from younger people, I'm guessing. Because this is a specific time-limited consequence, your son snuck out away from home and that's not a small thing. I would say not the idiot. You are ultimately responsible for your son's safety, and at his age, I wouldn't exactly trust his ability to think out long-term consequences for actions right now. And what the heck with some random outsider parent blowing up your phone? Very suspicious. Is it really another parent or an older ringleader? That would be my first thought. I would offer a curtain to hang in the doorway for 2 weeks. This would provide some visual privacy. Good luck, OP. Parenting a teen isn't for the faint of heart. You are still his legal guardian and have a responsibility to ensure their safety. While I don't agree with removing the door entirely, I understand this is for you until you get a replacement with a normal lock you can access also. I don't think this is unreasonable, honestly, and it should teach them a lesson about sneaking out. Also, coming home at 4 a.m. is not okay at his age. He's lucky you didn't call the police to report him missing, honestly. In most stories I see on here about parents removing doors, I feel like the parents are the idiot, but not this one. When I was that age, I got into a lot of trouble, most of which was life-threatening. I'm terrified for when my kids are old enough to get into that kind of trouble. He's mad now, but one day, he'll understand that you were trying to keep him safe. I couldn't imagine removing a door as a punishment. That's just wild to me. I get it, he snuck out, but I will promise you this, removing his door is just escalating the issue. Hear me out. It doesn't stop him from doing other behaviors that you worry about. My advice? When you and hubby are calm, sit down with him and have an adult conversation. Yes, I know that legally he's not an adult, but let's face it, in less than 2 years he's eligible to fight a war. He's a teen and no door to his room is not appropriate, let alone no lock. If he continues to abuse your trust, the issue is not a locked door. Good luck. I recently found out my older sister and her boyfriend have been having trouble getting pregnant. We aren't close. The only reason I know is that she asked me if I would be willing to carry a baby for her, as I'm the only sibling who has had successful pregnancies. One sister is too young and the other is child-free. I said no, she didn't push it, and I didn't press for any other details, so that was the end of the conversation. More recently, we were all visiting my parents. My brother-in-law talked to me and asked about my children, so I asked in turn about their current situation. He told me they were planning on using a paid carrier abroad. I was surprised by this. My brother-in-law is an incredibly sensitive man, super conscious of social issues, vegan, ego-conscious, fundraisers for various human rights causes, etc. He isn't annoying about it, but it's a very prominent part of his personality. I asked him if he had any ethical concerns about it, assuming he knew more about it than I would. He wasn't sure of what I meant, and I told him I was ignorant about it, but I'd heard some feminists found it wrong. The conversation fizzled out, and I thought no more about it until I got a string of furious and upset texts from my sister asking what I'd said to her boyfriend. The gist I got was that he'd looked into the topic himself and decided against it, and that they should adopt instead. I defended myself by saying that because of the type of person that he is, he probably would have come to that conclusion on his own regardless, and I'm sorry I had a casual chat with my brother-in-law. I've been blocked now, I think. Am I the idiot? My parents are constantly nagging me that she and I aren't closer, so I know this is going to cause issues. Not the idiot. It has major ethical issues. I'm a little surprised your brother-in-law didn't look into it, considering his conscientiousness in other areas, but it's not your fault he reconsidered. If you hadn't brought it up, I would bet that someone else would have. P.S. You are correct. This will cause issues with your sister, but not your fault. Nothing you said here was rude or particularly problematic. Boyfriend would end up fielding similar questions over the course of their lives. Better he confront his views now than having regrets later on. Sounds like he wasn't really on board, but your sister was, and now that he had a chance to look into it, would prefer another option. That's his decision, not yours. And sister displacing her unhappiness with her relationship onto you is unfair and inappropriate. I'm very sorry that your sister is upset. And if she doesn't want to adopt, that's a legitimate conversation she should be having with her boyfriend for sure. I'd probably just stay out of it from now on though. I have to say, I admire this man as a hopefully future parent for looking to pursue parenthood in ways that jive with the kind of moral person he wants to be and that are responsible choices for their family. My sister and brother-in-law were abusive parents to my niece, Charlotte. I always tried to protect her, but my wife and I could only get custody 3 years ago. We adopted her and she's a good kid at heart, but she still struggles a lot. She's still in therapy and has come so far, but finds it difficult to accept unconditional love and that kids don't have to be perfect. While she's usually fine with my wife and me, she still sometimes sees our daughter, Chloe, as ungrateful and spoiled. I've worked hard on this and it's a lot better, but sometimes it comes up in their teenage squabbles. It's not perfect, but the girls generally get along. Last Friday they had an issue. I was at work, so this is based on what I was told after. Chloe refused to do any of her chores and argued about it with my wife. Charlotte jumped in and basically called Chloe lazy and said that she should be a better daughter like her. Apparently my wife got angry and told her off. She reminded her that she was lucky we were taking care of her and to stay out of it. From there, it got worse. My wife says that Charlotte was extremely rude about Chloe, but she also admits she told Charlotte that we didn't have to take care of her and that basically, unlike Chloe, we can send her back to her parents if she keeps it up. Ignoring the fact we legally cannot, that's just completely messed up. They ended their fight with Charlotte just going to my parents for that night, and she's been really upset and withdrawn since. My wife filled me in when I got home and I was honestly pretty furious. The first thing that came to mind was, "What the heck is wrong with you?" Which admittedly wasn't a productive response, but I was honestly just floored. The issue is that Charlotte doesn't get that a kid deserves unconditional love even if they're not perfect. So you tell her that you'll kick her out if she doesn't behave? All the progress I work with her on will be shut back again. I was mad and we fought about it. I get she can be difficult, but that was inappropriate. However, she still refused to apologize or anything. I've tried to explain to her that we love her and that it wasn't meant the way it was said, but my wife is just accusing me of babying and favoring Charlotte. Apparently I'm being unreasonable, thinking what she did was disgusting, that I should care more about Chloe as if this is a competition. I'm still honestly pretty angry at her, while she claims I'm unreasonable and being a crap dad to Chloe. Not the idiot. Charlotte has just been told that she's not loved and wanted. She was told she would be sent back to her parents to live if she didn't behave. Your wife has single-handedly confirmed Charlotte's worst fears. Kids squabble, but your wife threw gasoline on a burning match. Exactly, your wife was cruel. It's literally that easy to undo the work you're doing to make Charlotte feel like she's part of the family. I mean, that's literally Disney villain level stuff, and that she doesn't get that's a red flag. Sounds like your wife isn't as okay with your niece being part of your family as she should be. You are not being unreasonable at all, and clearly, you two need to further discuss why she wants to other your niece so badly. Oh, how privileged Charlotte is being born into a mom and dad who don't care for them and having to be rescued by an uncle and aunt. Ask your partner to check the definition of privileged. That poor girl. You did the right thing in telling her off for undoing what you've been trying to fix with Charlotte. Honestly though, all of you need to be in therapy. Chloe because it sounds like she resents Charlotte, your wife because it sounds like she didn't want Charlotte, you because you're dealing with the mess. I'm 25 male marrying the love of my life, 24 female. The wedding parties are already set. We have 4 people on each side, our siblings and best friends. Well, almost all the siblings. My brother is a groomsman and so is one of her brothers who's closer to my age. Her eldest brother is not in the party. The point is the parties are pretty close and we both agreed we didn't want a large wedding party. I don't know how some people have like 10 on each side, but I digress. My dad is a sap. He and my mom divorced when I was 7, so most of my memories are of his dating life. He tries his best, but he's very soft-spoken and can be a bit of a pushover. He's been dating Donna for about 3 years now. This is by far the most serious relationship I've seen him in, and he's planning to marry her. Donna has a 19-year-old daughter. We see my dad, Donna and the daughter a few times a month. My dad and I went out to lunch, the two of us, when he mentioned how nice it would be if Donna's daughter was a bridesmaid, as she loves the two of us so much. I laughed and said that was all set, remember Dad? But then I realized he was serious, like he started throwing out ideas. Replace one of her friends, or we each add a person. I explained that I was absolutely not having this conversation with my fiancée and it wasn't happening. He dropped another bomb. He already told Donna and her daughter that we were figuring it out but planning on adding her, and she's been so excited lately. I told him no, and it's his fault for saying that, so he has to deal with that situation he created. He started with the whole, "Just do it for me, you know how much I love Donna, I'll make it up to you." I stayed firm. This is when he started to throw around the idea of not paying for the bar anymore. I haven't brought this up to my fiancée yet. I don't want to because I think it's so outlandish and it would probably make her feel guilty. She's a people pleaser and I don't want to add to her stress by telling her about this situation. So I'm wondering if it's an idiot move to tell my dad no to his request. Not the idiot. Tell your dad a firm no and remind him it's a complete sentence. I wouldn't tell him this, but 3 years of dating doesn't mean much. What's going to happen if he and Donna break up? All of your wedding pictures will have your dad's ex-girlfriend's daughter in it. Tell your dad that the bridal party is set and he's looking forward to having Donna and her daughter as guests, and if there are issues, they are more than welcome not to come. If he doesn't want to pay for the bar, so be it, but don't let him manipulate and blackmail you. I would drink stream water before I let anyone hold paying for a bar at my wedding over my head to force my fiancée to have a last-minute father-nominated bridesmaid. His monkeys, his circus. I'd one-up him, uninvite him. Thanks but no thanks, your presence is no longer required. He should be the one worrying about hurting you and damaging your relationship. Dude, he doesn't have any problem damaging his relationship with you. It's your wedding. It's the dad's girlfriend's daughter who, from the sounds of it, isn't close to anybody in the wedding party. Your dad's an idiot for making promises he has no power to deliver on. He got himself into this, and maybe today is the day you get to watch your dad grow a spine and mature right in front of your eyes. And really, wouldn't that be even better than if he paid for the bar? Good luck, OP.